Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. And thank you for pulling up with myself, George Guy. Glad you're here with me today. The pull-up, where we talk about, first of all, the pull-up, the concept of pull-up. Everybody talks about pulling up. Hey, I'm pulling up. I remember back in the day, I used to hear people say it when I was a kid. Well, I'm pulling up. Come be outside. I'm pulling up. And so it's a concept that we've picked up and it's grown. And I started this back when I was working out during COVID. I was pulling up and doing different things. I thought it'd be funny to post songs and just to kind of give people an idea of what that meant in terms of your thought process when you're pulling up, and just get people to identify, and just it started off being fun. But people started to say, man, I pulled up this morning. And so we took that concept, because working out for me is my way of preparation. So pull up is a preparation. It's like I'm trying to get to where I need to be. And so we started to utilize that. And so that's where this is about. So when you pull up today, what we're trying to do is we're talking to people across the country, communities that are doing really big things, giants. And today I have someone who's a community builder. And really what we want you to do is, if you're out there right now and you're trying to figure out what's my purpose, or you're trying to figure this out, like, what do I need to do? We want you to listen with the intention to stimulate your ambitions so you can pull up on your purpose and what you want to do. So that's why we're here today, and I'm excited. I can't tell you how excited I am today. We have Madam Councilwoman. I'm going to say Madam Councilwoman, but I'm going to call her Michelle every now and then. But I got to start off that way because she is the Councilwoman at large,
yes,
here in the city of Fort Wayne. And that's a really big deal. And it says something about you. Mm-hmm. So I have Michelle Chambers here today, and we're going to get a chance to really talk to her and dive into what she's all about and have some fun. But really, like I said, councilwoman, entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. When I met you, you was, making moves.
Yes.
And somebody that really did not have to come back to her hometown, was making moves in other places, but said that she wanted to do it. And that's why I think what you're doing politically is really important. I think that's why you're breaking records in terms of, listen, I got you. I got your data. I got your stats. Okay, and what you've done in terms of the numbers when people are voting for you as an at-large, meaning that you're representing the whole entire city.
That is correct.
It's not just a district. But really what you have been, the spaces that you've been, and what you said you wanted to do as a servant leader, and focusing on social economic issues. I'm like I said, I'm very humbled by the opportunity to talk to you today. Michelle Chambers, how are you?
I am well, brother. I am well. Thank you for allowing me to pull up today. I've been excited. I've been stalking you on the socials. I'm like, come on, I cannot wait to get my invitation to the pull up. But most importantly, thank you for pulling up. Whether you know it or not, I have seen the videos of you pulling into the gym. I'm going to get to the gym in 2026.
You're doing all right.
All right, but I got to hold on. But now, thank you I'm excited about this opportunity because, we have so many common connectors. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I just get to sit here and chop it up with you and pull up, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Let's pull up.
Well, thank you. And listen, you're holding a position now, and you're the Indiana Democratic.
Yeah, the DNC. Democratic National Convention, rep for the state of Indiana.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just came from LA.
I seen it.
Got some good information.
Yes.
Got to talk to some really important people. In that particular role as your DNC rep for the state of Indiana, it's critically important that we understand the messaging at the federal level, at the top level, and bring it down to the local level. Sure. And right now, the DNC is focusing on grassroots,
right,
making it happen. What I do know for sure, and as you probably know this as well, we don't lack in registered voters. We lack in getting people to the doors. And the way we got to get folks to the doors, we got to go old school, souls to the polls, get the churches involved. Right. For some kind of way, I know it's challenging times, but the people have moved away from that church connection in politics.
Right.
Church can be bipartisan. The main thing is get them to the polls. All of our nonprofit agencies, the Divine Nine, they all have some arm. Most have an arm now because after the Divine Nine is a nonprofit, you cannot advocate. But some of the Divine Nine, they have a pack in which it allows them not to advocate under the umbrella of the organization itself, but you still can reach the folks in the Divine Nine. That's hundreds of thousands of African American people that can do what? Shift elections. So it's really about getting to the people. All this madness, people coming to us. No.
Right.
No.
Power. And she didn't say it, but I'm going to say it. I know what she was trying to say. D9 folks, this is our moment. This is our opportunity, right?
What he said.
And we
pull
need to
up.
do more. Pull up. We got to do more. So we call it pull up moment.
Right.
That we got to do more. And not just D9, but other organizations that are centered around purpose in terms of community and service. And you notice that she said it's not about your political representation. It's just about making sure that we represent our power in terms of some of the issues. So I appreciate you saying that. And that's why I really wanted you to start off by talking about what you occupy and what this moment means now in terms of the position you hold. Because I know you're a servant leader. Yeah. How important is engagement in politics right now?
Engagement is as everything. And unfortunately or fortunately, you have to engage with people via said internet. Now, we're going to do our grassroots things. We're going to do the in-person things, but your engagement and your messaging has to be so powerful, and you have to be able to message to young people, to our seniors, and everything in between. You got to find that sweet spot. You got to find the why, how we get them to come out and exercise their right to vote. Right. I'm a Democrat, born and raised, you know what I'm saying? But I represent, as you've already indicated, I'm at large. I represent all people. So I need to be able to encourage all people to come and just exercise your right to vote.
Yes.
You know, we had a big moment just recently here in the state of Indiana. There was an attempt to redistrict, basically close out the minority party. But guess what? The people spoke. The people went to the House and spoke. That was all grassroots, folks on phones, folks showing up in person. It wasn't one entity. It wasn't one agency. It was the Democratic Party. It was grassroots efforts. It was just folks who believe up at the state, like, no, y'all not going to do this. And guess what? They were successful. We were successful. There still may be a majority control, but it's not a super majority.
Right.
And what that tells me, people are engaged, George. People want somewhere to land. People want to be heard. So in a very red state, a super move, a power play, it was put out. It did not happen.
Because the people spoke.
The people spoke.
Power. That's it.
It was powerful.
I know about all this because I follow you. Yeah. And I'm telling you, y'all, you got to follow Michelle on LinkedIn and all the socials. You do a great job. I want to tell you, by the way, when you talk about engagement, I really feel your energy and passion. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're going to a local something here, you letting people know what's going on in the community,
absolutely,
how important it is to be engaged. And what I like about what you do is it ain't about color, it ain't about zip code. You're just trying to make sure that we're in places representing and exerting power.
Absolutely. And we exert power because we're organized, we the people.
Right.
Are exercising our rights. And when you hashtag stay informed, that's one of my hashtags. It's not creative, but if you're informed and you stay educated, you can create the impact that you want. Right. You can create the change that you want to, and that's by staying engaged.
Yes. So you heard me say that there's folks out there that are like, man, how did she get there? And that's what I like about when we talk about pull up. I really was intentional in creating this platform to make sure, and shout out to our neutral voices, James Scott and team over there, creating this beautiful studio we have here.
Right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's right. Yeah, it's awesome, right? But allowing us to do these type of things. But what I wanted to make sure was there are people like me and you, particularly like you, that are trying to figure out, maybe I want to do that. Maybe it's a young girl. Maybe it's a middle-aged woman or man, for that matter, that says, man, how did I get there? So what I like to do is, because I know Michelle as an entrepreneur, right? But was concerned about her community and making sure it worked, about development. But you had businesses, you're a businesswoman, but you've worked in the social sector. But I also know you from the projects.
Yes.
We found that out. We've got a projects connection.
Yes, we pulled up.
Apartment 411, apartment 413 for myself, Arsenal Courts Project.
McMill, yes.
Yes. But talk about Michelle and how it started Because I think people want to hear about how did it start?
Absolutely. And you took my favorite word, intentionality. Mm-hmm. And it started from when I was just a baby. My father was very intentional in how he interacted with me, his daughter, his mm-hmm. children. Mm-hmm. He may had only had the opportunity to complete the 8th grade, but when it came to his children, he was very intentional mm-hmm. in what he exposed us and what he taught us. We left Fort Wayne in the 70s, and I, came back 15 years ago. My grandfather, trailblazer here. He was intentional. African-American male. He was the same way. He didn't see color. He saw people. Mm-hmm. And he was a trailblazer. He set the tone for you and I. He changed housing lending for folks here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They gave him a $10,000 grant and a raggedy church. And he had a successful adult literacy program. Mm-hmm. Early Head Start programs, all the things you and I have done. It's amazing to me that I'm walking in his footsteps. Kind of sad we got some of them same issues still, but that's all right. I digress. So then my mom started a cancer survivor group for women of color, because when she had cancer in the 80s, there was nothing for women of color. So it's in my DNA. It's in my DNA to be intentional. Mm-hmm. My father raised me to be comfortable no matter where I was and who I was sitting in front of, whether it was the biggest baller in the community or the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. I am Michelle Chambers. Mm-hmm. So understand what that means. So he gave me that juice. My grandfather taught me early on, and I give this to my students, 2 things. Well, really 1 thing. Your word is bond. Mm-hmm. All you have in life is your word. Right. If you don't have your word, then what do you really have? Mm. He says, baby girl, they call me Mickey. He said, look, if you say you're going to do something, mm-hmm. you do it. But if you can't do it, just say you can't do it. Right. And that's always been part of my professional projection. I got into working in local government. I was working at a shelter. Mm-hmm. I love my brothers. But the brother was like, hey, man, they got these jobs in the city of Fort Wayne. He was just talking to the brother. I'm just standing there like, you don't see me? So anyway, I took the initiative. I applied for the job, and I started working in the housing development in some of the hardest served communities. Nickerson Garden was my projects I worked in, Nickerson Garden.
And that's in L.A.?
Oh, yeah, Los Angeles, California. Yeah. That's where it all started. I worked for the city of L.A. for 25 years, started in housing. Mm-hmm. Then I went into community development. Mm-hmm. I went in health and human services, economic development. So I had a very robust career with the city of LA, then went over to the city of Carson for 7 years, and that's where my redevelopment opportunities started. So it was at an early age being led to understand that no room that I walk in, I do belong. Right. Even though I've been in situations, because I'm a brown girl in America, where even here when I first moved here, where I was made to feel unwanted. Mm-hmm. Because they didn't understand the light. It wasn't comfortable for them. But I'm happy about my father, again, who only had the opportunity to go to the 8th grade. He knew his children could be great, and they didn't have to be part of their circumstance. We may have been poor, but we didn't have a poor man's mentality.
Ooh, say that.
We may have been poor, but we have never had a poor man's mentality.
I call that you were poverty or poor adjacent.
Oh, yeah. Because we have been in winters where we were freezing our milk, our food in the snow. Ooh. Where we were bundled up in a house in a 1-bedroom. I've been the poorest of the poor.
1-bedroom apartment.
7. This is before we got public housing.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No electricity. Uh-huh. So, the book that I'm supposedly coming from, it doesn't equate to the opportunities that I've been in position. I understand, and I tell my students this, I understand the power of your network, W-O-R-K, will dictate your net worth, W-O-R-T-H. They work in concert with one another.
That's right.
And so what I love to give to young folks, black, brown, purple, yellow, understand that you are great and perfectly made just as you are. You are human being first. We all put our pants leg on one at a time. Mm-hmm. So whatever you want to do, you can do it. And guess what? I hate that in our society we make failure a bad word. I tell my babies, failure is a growth moment. It is a growth moment. You understand? It's a growth moment. And that's how my daddy I can't use the word. My dad was a straight shooter, so I won't use the words that he would. Every time I thought I was, I didn't get a promotion or somebody rolled up on me or something, he was like, he had choice words. So that's why I just
tough love.
Hey, some people wouldn't be able to take it, but I like to take our negatives and make them positives because I've had failure. We were saying I was an entrepreneur. Absolutely. I came home and I had this blueprint. I was going to work for the city of Fort Wayne and I was going to have my business. Well, the city of Fort Wayne wasn't ready for me when I first got here. I couldn't land a job. And my beloved mother finally said to me, she said, why you keep going down there to them people? Run your business. So that's how I ended up doing my business full time. It was a real estate loan closing business. It was a mobile business. I went anywhere you needed me to come to close them loans. So I did that for 10 years. And at one time, I have this shirt on it that says, I am Black History. I literally was Black History. I had a real estate loan company on one corner of Calhoun and Wayne. And then I was at the other corner. I had a Your Virgin Hair Boutique, a human hair boutique. So I was running two businesses at once. The 100-year storm came and I ended up having to close my business. But I always tell folks, the lesson in that is this. Even though my YVH store had closed, I honored my lease. I wasn't bringing in no revenue, but I honored my lease. You know why I did that? Because the business community is very small. So the people that I was in partnership with, they'll be like, well, she honored her lease. She could have just walked away. So I had 9 months left and I paid out of pocket just to pay for the space. I honored my lease. And that's about your word being bond. That was a very tough moment for me because I didn't have that income coming in, that revenue coming in anymore, but I honored what I signed off on.
Right.
So I walked away from that. It was a sad situation. Maybe I was before my time, but it was a good lesson learned. Honor your leases, honor your word. Because there's no secrets. Everybody talks. So I believe that if I ever wanted to go into business with anybody, they'd be like, she's reputable. She does her thing. But the reason why I stopped my entrepreneur journey is because I was tired. What I like to tell my entrepreneurs who are considering being a business owner, it is great. It is free. But it is a hustle 24/7. If you are not billing, you don't got no revenue coming in.
You ain't eating.
Right. First 5 years, if you can keep your doors open and keep the bills paid, that is success in business. But, we live in a very 30-second soundbite time, and everybody thinks they're influencers and they can, get their coins up. But it's work being an entrepreneur. And I had done it successfully for 10 years.
Right.
And I was just tired.
Wow.
And it goes full circle. I had originally gone to college to be a teacher. And then I got presented with an opportunity to teach at East Allen University here in Fort Wayne, a dual credit program. And I was teaching 6 different subjects. I didn't know what I had said yes to. I was like, sure. Absolutely.
Passionate, ambitious.
Yeah.
Right.
They got me. But I love the staff. So that's how I got back into education. I originally went to school to be an educator.
Right.
But then that pathway, listening to folk talk, going to pursue a job with the city of LA, that started that 25-year career. Coming home, ran my own business, got tired. Somebody was like, hey, you got a business background. We need a teacher. So I taught with East Allen for 2 years, had the opportunity to run YSA, Young Scholars Academy, which is now under the umbrella of Boys and Girls Club. I was the executive director of that program as well. Yeah. Okay. And now I am with Fort Wayne Community Schools, and I have been fortunate to really grow and develop their work-based learning internship program.
Talk about that innovative program that they have there, the AMP Lab, right?
Yeah, AMP Lab is just a campus of innovation.
And why did someone like you, who's been very intentional, and we don't get into details, but you've also had good jobs. And I mean, when I say good jobs, I mean jobs that someone on the outside says, oh, that's a good job. But when it doesn't fit with you, one thing I know about you, you don't mind stepping out and saying, look, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
So then you began to work at Fort Wayne
Community
School District in this innovative program. Why did that motivate you to do that?
Well, it came to me because YSA had shut down and went under the umbrella of the Boys and Girls Club. They didn't need an executive director. And, we all know, folks, hey, Michelle, you want to do some subbing while you're in transition? Yeah. So the transition ended up turning into a permanent full-time position. And I like it because it's not a traditional classroom and that it's not the same thing over and over.
Tell us about
innovative.
What is it?
So the AMP Lab is an innovation campus where students come to learn how to be entrepreneurs, but they also work on specific projects with community partners are looking to solve things.
Sure.
So you have studios, Make Studio, where you make things.
Wow.
You have your Venture Studio, where you are learning how to be an entrepreneur. You have your Create Studio, where you can podcast, you can create things. You have your Grow Studio, you learn how to grow food and things of that nature. So it comes in cycles. We have 4 different cycles at Amp Lab throughout the entire year. So you're learning all of these skill sets. And then you have these 6 areas of competencies that the ideal is that when you leave Amp Lab, you'll be proficient in emotional intelligence. You'll be professional in knowing how to collaborate. There's 6 areas that we concentrate on. That's what the curriculum is built on. It is a robust curriculum, but it is innovative and it's hands-on. So I always like to say students can come to Amp Lab and find your tribe, because you have students from all over Fort Wayne that come.
Yeah, that's right. It's not just
Fort Wayne Community Schools anymore. It's everything. So you have kids that are coming from well-off due situation, middle class, those that are struggling. But when you walk in Amp Lab, it's a level playing field.
So, when I hear your stories, I mean, I say story.
Yeah.
Because it's with intentionality and purpose, like everything you've been a part of. Now I want to know, Michelle, because there's a little girl out there, and I'm picturing Michelle with the pigtails.
Oh yeah, I got the picture. Yeah.
So, but seriously, what was that little girl like at the schools that you went to here, and what were you involved in?
Oh,
because
my
I know
goodness.
there's people out there that there's girls out there that are dreaming and figure out. I'm like that. So maybe there's a pathway for me. So talk about that girl.
Well, Mickey would be that girl, that little girl.
All right.
I would tell it's all my dad. My dad allowed me to dream. He never
say that again. Pull up moment.
My dad allowed me to dream.
That's where it starts from.
And my mom, there's a 4-year difference almost between my sister and I. There's 5 of us. So really, my mother always said, I have 5 children who have 5 distinctly different personalities.
And where are you at in that lineup?
I'm the youngest.
The youngest.
Oftentimes people think I'm the oldest, but I'm the youngest. So I got to have more one-on-one time with my dad and with my parents. And so unfortunately, they felt like they were being parented by me sometimes. They're like, who is this child? Where did she come from? So I've done it all. I was a Girl Scout. I did dance class. I love dance. My passion in life, unfortunately, since I moved here, I haven't been able to do it, is West African dance.
Wow.
That is where my joy and my heart lies. I'm never a professional dancer. It was just that's my joy, because I love to dance. I love music. I love the connection with the drum. So anything that I wanted to explore, it could have been modeling. It could have been.
Did you model?
Yeah, my daddy, all the things. Yeah, all the things.
Okay.
So I was my class president. I was in student body government in high school, junior high. The foundation. See, the foundation, it was a foundation where it was very flexible. My dad was like, that's what we're doing this month? Okay. My mother would be like, oh God, what does this child want to do now? I mean, when I went to college, I did all the paperwork. My mom was like, okay. But see, this is an interesting story. Let me tell you about having people who pay attention.
Right.
I worked retail all through high school. I worked 32 hours a week in high school. The limited corporation. So I was going to be a buyer for the limited corporation.
The limited
corporation. They're not even
limited.
I know. They're not around. They got the express
I
still.
understand, but listen.
You understand?
You were paying attention. As a young college guy, you watching the women coming out of the limited. They was about business, okay?
I'm telling you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I had got accepted to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising.
Wow.
And so my second year, my senior year, my college counselor finally got to me. I was like, oh no, I've done my financial aid. I have my packet. I'm going to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandise. He's like, no, you're not, Michelle. You're smart. I said, I know, but I'm going to be a buyer. I got my pathway. I'm already assistant manager. He's like, you're going to college. I said, so he applied. And I ended up getting accepted to San Jose State University 2 weeks before school started. My girlfriend was already going. And that's how I ended up in college, a traditional college. Didn't have a room, but I pulled up with my girlfriend.
Okay.
And I was, I was at the head of the bed, she was at the foot of the bed, was a volleyball player in the room. It was different for the 2 little black girls from Eaglewood. So she ended up going to the dorm with the athletes. And that's how I got my dorm space. I didn't get any financial aid until like maybe 45 days after school had started. But that man, because he got to me, he saw something in me and said, you are more. Not to say that the Fashion Institute Design and Merchandise was not sufficient, but he saw more. That changed my whole pathway in life. So I'm the first in my family to go and complete college. My brother started to tone early on. My brother George Chambers, he's a great ball player. He had a full ride to Indiana Tech. No, I can't think. It was in L.A. He started the process. Oh, we can go to college because in my family, you got your first and your last moving to your apartment. That's what my family had for you when you graduate from high school. So the oldest boy changed that trajectory when he got the scholarship, college. So I'm the first one to go and complete. I'm the first one to do the master's. I'm the first one to get those additional certifications. But what have I done? I've changed the course of the kids who came behind me. I've dropped off several nieces and nephews to college.
I see them too. I see them celebrating.
Those my babies. See, now I'm on the greats now.
Right.
I'm on the greats. I'm an auntie mama. I never had my own children, but my brother started it. See, my father gave us a mandate. Brilliant man. I have a family crest. We have a family crest.
Okay.
And he told us it's each generation's responsibility to elevate the family. So I've elevated.
Pull up moment. Did you hear that? That's legacy.
Each generation, yes. So we have a family crest, the ivy branch, the lion, the cross, and the crescent moon. That's what our family crest consists of. It's purple.
I like crest. I like crest.
Yeah, okay.
By the way. Okay.
So, I understand what it means to feed into family. Because you and I, we give and give, and we take care of everybody. I see you with your baby, your grandchildren. Even though we're givers to others, what we give to everybody else, we got to make sure we're putting into our families as well. So Mickey, to your original question 5 minutes ago, Mickey was allowed to have a foundation that was flexible. Mickey was allowed to dream. And Mickey was never taught that because you don't have financially, you can't be great. You are great.
Mickey, I like that you first used the nickname because it is so important as a young person, because you said something that was powerful. You were given space. Let's pull up to dream.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't tight. You were, although you were in these spaces that might have been physically tight, you felt like I can be beyond that because I can dream about where I want to be.
Yeah. I never walked in a room, even when I'm the only, even as a grown person, I've never felt any kind of way. I'm very much aware that I am the only, but I never had the mindset because you're the only, that means you're limited. Because you're the only does not mean you don't belong there. Right. And like I said, my father, he was a brilliant, brilliant man. And I'm sure if he had had the opportunities that I had growing up, but his life was still good. I mean, he had all the issues of the 70s and 80s, but he came on through. We
can have another show for that.
Okay.
The issues of the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah. I'll pull up. Absolutely.
Why don't you pull up for that? So as we wrap up, and I want to go back through this.
Okay.
Because the dreamer.
Yeah.
Right? Mickey the dreamer. Mickey the fashion person, the person that was like, first of all, to be an assistant manager when you graduate high school is pretty amazing. And the ambition itself. Going off to college, going to explore that, just making moves, and then becoming this servant leader and working in housing and city government, and then entrepreneur and teacher. Obviously wanted to be a teacher. An educator, I would say, and public service. So as we wrap this up, tell me what is next for Michelle. And I'm gonna stop the same way I'm gonna end the same way I started by saying, Madam Councilwoman Chambers, what's next?
George, Mr. Guy, I don't know, because I have completed the vision board that I put together 10 years ago. What I do know is I'm positioning myself mentally for the next. Okay. I have a plan. I definitely will be running again for, council at large. Outside of that, I don't know. I'm in this weird season of next. And I can't look at you today and say affirmatively XYZ. Now, there's some things that I don't know what I'm preparing for, but I'm preparing for. I'm positioning myself for the next. So let's say this. I'm in a position of preparing for the next that has not been clearly defined, but there is a next.
Wow. Now, where can they find you at? Because I want everyone out there, no matter where you at in the country, this Michelle, her message is universal. So where can they find you and follow you?
Yeah, they can follow me at vote.chambers on Instagram, Vote Chambers TikTok, Vote Chambers and on YouTube. And I do have a website, michellechambers.info. Right. So, and there is another Michelle Chambers as an elected official, but she in California. Now make sure y'all land on Fort Wayne, Indiana, Michelle Chambers, the politician.
That's right. That's right. So you are, you're a public servant, and public servant folks don't get a lot of respect. That's why I'm not using the term politician on purpose.
Come on. Yeah.
You're a public servant.
Yes.
So I would be wrong, though, if I didn't let the politician, the politician part of the public servant come out with your last words that you want to leave folks with that are out there right now in terms of the moment.
So what I'll say in the moment right now from us locally, from a political perspective, we have some challenging years ahead of us, but we have the right leader, Mayor Sharon Tucker, to lead us through that. I need our constituents to be very patient with us. We are a fiscally strong city, but we are going to lose a great deal of revenue. We will have gaps in the next 2 or 3 years. So I'm being intentional and trying to build those public-private partnerships. I'm being intentional and trying to support the administration. So when those gaps do come, business as usual will continue. We got some lean times ahead of us. And I want folks to know that I work across party lines, that I represent all people in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
There we go. You've heard it. Madam Councilwoman Chambers, Michelle Chambers, Mickey. She even said her nickname. See, I ain't going to be bold to say my name.
I don't normally share that, but I got caught up in the moment. Don't be walking to me talking about Mickey. I won't respond.
Oh, wow. No, but again, I just want to say thank you to Michelle Chambers, at-large councilwoman here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And listen, if you pulled up today, I hope you got something from that. This has been a robust interview that really talked about, not an interview, conversation, talking about dreaming, purpose, and fulfilling that purpose, and doing public service. But also, if you caught the end of that, what's it going to take to get out of this is public-private partnerships, which is a part of collaboration. So that's what I want to leave you with today. As you pull up, I hope you got something. I hope you stimulate your own ambitions to become what you need to be. But it starts with a dream. Till next time, pull up. Make your dreams happen.